I'm in the Wasatch Mountains looking for the Wasatch Sasquatch. I'm in an area, a hot spot that there's at least 4 Bigfoot sightings in this area that I know of. There's one in this canyon that I'm in currently, 2 in Manaway, 1 in Wellsville, and those are just the reported sightings. One of them was on the Finding Bigfoot show. So I've been keeping an eye on this area. I search for Bigfoot all along the Wasatch Front. It's a mountain range a couple 100 miles long in Utah, and it runs north to south as part of the Rocky Mountains. But this section of Wasatch has dozens and dozens of Bigfoot sighting reports, not to mention probably the biggest collection of Bigfoot videos captured by hikers and hunters and you name it. People have caught a lot of videos of Bigfoot along these mountains. I'm in an area that has 4. Been keeping an eye on this area for a couple of years now. I'm gonna service some game cameras and I'll show you what's on those cameras at the end of this. My buddy Rob, he's from this area. He's local. He grew up here. He was my guide the first time in this area. Even though Bigfoot's being spotted down in the valleys, I know that's not where it lives. I kind of went over with him some of the areas I'm looking for, food sources, water sources and stuff, and he brought me back in this area the first time. And after I put out that video, right away within like a week, a guy that had a Bigfoot sighting here, he's like, I recognize where he at. That's where my Bigfoot sighting was. And then another dude got a hold of me that encountered some suspect Bigfoot activity in the area. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this area, and Rob brought me back here because I've never been back here and he's spent some time here. Look at how amazing the Wasatch Mountains are, folks. Rob and I are going to hike back into these canyons right here, look for Bigfoot evidence. And we're also looking for evidence of other animals in the area. You know, that's one of the questions. What attracts Bigfoot to these areas? If it's a sighting hotspot, that means the creatures visiting the area often. What's there that attracts it? So that's why I'm interested in the animals, the fauna, the food sources, and the water sources, the mountaintop springs, the creeks. I have a hunch that this creature needs water. One of the food sources I've found here are the acorns. There's a lot of oak brush in this area, and there's several varieties of berries. Yeah, make sure you guys watch this to the end. We'll put some of the animals that we've captured in this area at the end of that. And of course, if we get the home run, we'll put him too. Last week I went and investigated a Bigfoot sighting above Hardware Ranch near the Blowdown Springs area. And the sighting happened 8 weeks prior. And get in there and expect to find nothing, just like, you know, always. It seems like you always up there finding something that don't want to be found. But anyway, we found dozens and dozens of 13-inch long tracks by 7 inches wide. And the guy was explaining that this thing was over 8.5 feet tall. And I just don't think that's what made those tracks, but we tracked them to a bedding spot, and we could see where it put one of its knuckles of its hand down to either get up or sit down in this bedding spot. And then close to the bedding spot we found the big one. We found the one with the 17-inch long by 7.5 inch wide at the toe splay tracks. I mean, it's 2 months after the guy saw it, but it's in the same area. It's near the Blowdown Springs area, so it was quite compelling. This is kind of the same mountain range that we're on right now. This is parallel to that.
There's one of your broken trees.
Yeah, it is. And it's pointing towards this trail that we're on. It's huge.
Whatever big cat or dog made those tracks came down this, because I'm still catching little parts of it at some places. It came down from this direction onto that trail.
Hopefully it stepped in the snow. You're finding more of that canine?
Yeah. Let's see if I see any here, because that's about the same. They were right here. You can see some of the pads just starting in there and right in here. They're not as defined here. They are still definitely here. Which tells me this was a drier area when it came through, so it was probably in the morning time before the snow was able to melt. Very defined one right there.
He's leaving some big tracks.
Those are some massive tracks.
I've gotten some pretty big coyotes
That one's facing that way.
on game camera here before.
That one's really fresh too. That one's facing that way. That's newer than the ones we were looking at down there.
I actually got a group of coyotes running after some turkeys on video.
There's the next step. And the next step's right there. Which means this is probably the next step here. And then there. So did it walk off this way or did it keep going up? Yeah, that's what I'd say it is.
Yes, that's confirmed. We're looking at poison oak, folks. So yeah, avoid this stuff. And right next to it is the oak that makes the edible acorns. People really want to cook those acorns though.
No,
roast them or whatever.
Ivy. It's actually ivy. See how it has the sharper edges?
Oh, that's poison ivy. Well, that last one that you showed me...
It looks a lot like it too, yeah.
Yeah, well, the thing is poison oak and poison ivy, that shows you they're hard to differentiate between. Looks like that. It's probably one of the two.
The ivy's more sharp and the oak's more round is the only thing I'm really noticing the big difference with.
Well, right next to each other, you got one with sharp edges and one that's not quite as sharp. I'm sure they're both the same plant, though.
Mm-hmm.
That they're giving you both looks almost.
Either way, it's something you don't want to touch with bare hands.
Or hike through it with shorts and sandals.
Yeah, no.
And I've been known to do that in the summertime.
That would be a bad day for sure. And that's fresh.
That bedding spot looks really fresh.
It makes you wonder that maybe whatever was bedding there was smart enough to figure out a way to hide its tracks. Look at this. This was broken off.
A broken relocated pine bough.
It had to have come off this tree right here, I think. No, maybe this one right here behind you.
Moose are about the only animals that eat these, but
And this
one wasn't
eaten at
this
all.
one isn't eaten. It was just torn off.
And I mean, there are tracks here. They're just not distinct enough to figure out what it is.
Now, does a bear tear pine boughs off? I don't think so.
I don't think that was torn off intentionally. I think whatever it was big enough that it broke it off as it was walking by.
It has been moved.
It
Something
was
tore
broken
into it.
right there and then moved. And it's broken down there too.
Wonder if something huge just stepped on that and crushed it.
Mm-hmm. That's what it kind of looks like to me. This one right here was probably broken when it fell. This looks like, because that goes perfectly together like that, looks like something stepped on it, crushed it, and then yeah, it just moved.
It'll take a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm. That's another bedding area.
Yeah. I think I may want to keep an eye on this bedding area.
There's nests up there. We have some tracks again. And they're big. They're really big. Boom. See that? Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And that one right there is the same thing. Those are huge.
Yeah, I wish that they were full definition.
Whatever it is, it's huge.
Might
and
be
it
here.
stepped right there too.
Might be with us here today. I want to measure this hole.
Look at that. It's the same thing. There's one behind you too, and there's dung. I didn't even notice that. See this, Kelly?
Oh, man, there it is.
Some runny dung. You stepped in it.
Oh shit.
At some point.
We put the camera on that?
Yeah.
Okay. This is 16 inches long from here to here, if this is a single track.
I think it's a single track.
So it's 16 at the longest point, and to me this looks like the toes, and it's 8 inches wide at the toe splay. This may very well pick the bark off the tree and laid by that tree, and then the hill, it tapers at 6 inches, but I'm seeing toe definition up here, and then here's one side of it, here's the other side of it, and it's 15 to 16. It's probably got a 15-inch foot, but did about 16 inches of damage sliding just a little bit as it took a step. That's a massive.
It came down from here. You see all the broken branches and stuff?
Yeah, this is, may have very well been what laid over there and everything too.
Yeah, look, it went down right there. So I think it came this way, went down right here. Well, it took a crap, went down right there, and then came back up. But I mean, it definitely went through this section right here. There's a crack up there.
I heard a crack up there too. We may be pushing back whatever we just measured right there.
That would have been broken recently.
I just heard a vocalization that sounds like a turkey. I thought I heard a grouse take off and fly earlier, but may very well have been a turkey.
I mean, it obviously came right here. Oh, this way, right there. Is that it right there, maybe?
I just heard something.
It looks like it's been stepped on. Those massive prints in the snow. It's just a little portion of it. It's older.
Yeah, it did step in the snow right there. Something.
I think it. I don't know if it came from this way.
Look at this, folks. I think it's the one. Look. Here's the toe section. It goes right back to the hill. This is probably within the last day. Let me point it out to you guys at home. Okay, you got toe section that comes across here, and then the heel section that comes across here. The heel is 6 inches. The toes are about, the toe section's about 8, and then the length. The length is over 15 inches in length. So it's the same thing.
Multiple deer.
That's what's moving.
Multiple deer.
Okay. I see them.
He came down right here. This tree right here has been knocked over. Something's come through here, you can see by the tracks. The deer are right there.
Alright, can you see the camera? Alright, watch to the end of this video and we'll show you what's on it.
So, I mean, you can see right there's a print. Right here's a print. And then you step over right here, and there's an obvious print right there, right where that is. And it stepped over these branches that are coming up to my stomach.
I get it. That has some pretty good clearance on its legs to do that.
Mm-hmm. It's got to, because look, it stepped from here literally over to there.
Okay. That may be the local Squatch in the area. Look, there's some more bark torn off the tree right here. You know, that last tree, I didn't see any claw marks on that bark or that tree.
I didn't either. I don't know what it is, but there is something moving around up here too. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
But it's been there the whole time you've been talking, and it's just kind of just, I think it's just waiting right around there, just watching it.
That's what they do. I watched for some tree peekers.
See that? There's another mark and another mark here. Look at the size of this one.
Whoa. Something big stepped there. See, the bark's torn off here too.
Big prints in the ground. They're not very defined, but you can tell something sunk
That's because
in
they're
right
in
there.
the grass. It's hard to leave edges in the grass. But look, you can tell that they were after insects in there because you can see where the insects have been living under the bark. Now, do you, any of you at home, see claw marks under this bark? Me neither.
That's fresh glue gun. Looks like chocolate.
Oh, it's so dang fresh. It's still sitting on leaves and stuff.
That's probably the deers we saw up there. They probably came right through here right before we did.
That's Squatch food, man.
And I mean, it stepped over these here into right there and then right there.
Definitely tracking something big back here.
And it might have actually just came down, stepped right here, propelled itself over.
They'll sometimes sidestep too. They can maneuver their feet a lot differently than we do. And they also have that mid-tarsal.
What size is that one?
You see another track up there? Yeah.
That one's older, but I'm pretty sure that's a track too. Whatever it is, it's big.
Oh yeah.
Boom.
Oh yeah. Will you measure that for me?
Yeah. Okay, it looks like it ends about here. So that's about that same 13. And across, it's about that same 8 inches across.
At the top. It's good size. That was heading this direction.
It stepped from right there all the way down to that one down there. So there's nothing in between.
That's probably longer than the 6 feet that I can measure. I think that only goes out to 6 feet.
I'm getting close. Yeah, it's bigger.
That's bigger than a 6 foot stride.
And it's 8 foot and it ends right there.
Oh, that's at 8 foot and it ends there. It probably leaped. It probably just wanted to leap over this
over the
log.
obstacle.
Uh-huh.
And it looks like it stepped there, and then leaps. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was a preparation and then the leap. And that's why that one's so deep and why that one's super deep, is it came down and landed with all that force. Massive feet.
Man, what was the indication it was tall? Because it stepped over such a large...
Yeah, that thicket back there came up to my stomach right here.
Well, and then that leap of over 8 feet right there that you just measured. That's incredible. All right, let me point this track out to you guys. And look, you can see where the toes slid a little bit.
It's twice as long as my foot.
And there's the hill, and it stepped right in front of this branch heading that direction. Yeah, we're back here with something that's huge. Up at the toes, it is 7 inches, almost 8 inches wide, over 7. At the hill, and it looks like it stepped on that branch back there a little bit on the hill, it is over 6 where it tapers at the hill. This thing's huge. Oh, it stepped there too. It just stepped with the front section of its foot there too. That is just massive. That is massive. Okay, I am getting over 17 inches in length on that thing. Actually, let's get to where it tapers perfectly. It's exactly 17. Doesn't mean the foot's that big, it's just the damage that it's done to the ground.
This alone right here is crazy too, because that's 14.
That's only part of it too. That might be the front of the mid-tarsal. Yeah, sometimes they use the mid-tarsal like another knee.
There's another step right there. Like you can see the steps.
Well, hopefully we catch it on camera. We're just putting new batteries in cameras up here.
Yeah, it's super weird. I don't know what was tracking me up there, but something was tracking me up there.
Something was paralleling Rob. He was, while I was servicing cameras, he was up on the mountain tracking this thing.
Yeah, I don't normally get uneasy, but that was I was getting a weird vibe.
I got a weird vibe when I heard the whoop and the snapping behind us.
Yeah, that sound, that vocalization I heard was very loud and very, like within a half a mile. And it sounded like it was coming from behind us, like from the area we had already traveled. The place, there's these giant indents, and they go all the way up. Like that's what I was following when I was up there, when I started getting paralleled, and I was like, nope, I'm getting paralleled by something, and whatever it is, it's interested in me, so I am. Because I'd walk, and it'd walk, and then I'd stop, and it'd go for a second, and then realize I stopped and stop. And then that last time, before I headed back down, I stopped, because I'd been really quiet, and I was trying to be quieter, because I noticed it, and I was being really quiet, and I stopped, and it didn't realize it right away, and kept moving, and I just heard branch, 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 and then all of a sudden it stopped, because it realized. It was like almost a full minute of walking past me, and it just stopped. And then all of a sudden I just was like, had this feeling something was watching me again. So I was like, it was a weird vibe, and so it was like time to turn around.
Well, they supposedly feel safer on the ridges. A lot of people and natives call them ridge walkers. They prefer to be up on the ridges, but obviously they have to come down into the valley for resources. But for safety, they like to be up on the ridges. And in reality, it's safer from people. People usually don't walk the ridge lines. People usually stay down into the valleys. That's where all the trails and rivers are.
But I mean, whatever left these marks is huge, and they keep going. There's definite paths that it has traveled.
Well, we got a measurement off of one of them down in the valley, down over by the golf course. A farmer saw it standing out by his tractor out there, and it towered over his tractor, and the cab of his tractor was 8 feet tall, so this thing had to have been around 9. Yeah, it stepped in the snow right there.
Something definitely stepped there.
That's huge.
It's huge. I mean, there's another one right here. You can just see the edge of it.
Yeah, I think it stepped in the snow while it was still snowing, and a little bit of snow covered up its track.
That almost has definition to it. I mean, you can see different sections. And there's where a heel dug in. Where toes dug in there. I mean, obviously something came up this way.
It's been back and forth several times through here, not just once.
Mm-hmm. There's multiple different trails
because
it's
massive
going, animal.
We're seeing evidence of it going both directions. So it's coming in and out. Might be some of the vocalizations we heard.
Because, I mean, look, there's still massive prints up in here, too.
Yeah, something big's walked in and out.
I hope you capture whatever that thing is so we can figure it out. That thing is massive.
You stepped right next to this one.
That looks like a handprint.
It's definitely much bigger than your...
You know what I'm saying? That looks like a handprint.
I know. It could... Will you measure that? I'll measure the thumb to the crossways first.
11 and a half inches.
It's huge.
From the fingers, and I mean, there's definite indents for like fingers. From there to the back is about 13 and a half, 14 inches.
That's a gigantic hand. If that's indeed where Bigfoot put his hand down for whatever reason. To get up, sit down, or they're known to walking on all fours with that mid-tarsal deal going on in their long arms. They're comfortable as a stealth to go down on all fours to sneak up on stuff. I mean, you're talking something that's 8 feet tall, can go down on all fours, and now it's low profile.
In some of those areas, that we were looking at looked like something had crawled through some of these.
And
like,
they will.
These overhangs and stuff like that. It looked like something had crawled through.
I got a game cam photo. It doesn't belong to me, but I made a blog post about it, highlighting it and stuff. Somebody in the UK got a Bigfoot that was nearly down on all fours crossing in front of the camera.
I don't know why. I still have a weird vibe going on. Even
Yeah.
now.
Something's watching us.
You're feeling it too?
Yeah. I'll bet you that big old Squatch stepped here and broke that.
Look, this has been stepped on, not just by us.
I haven't stepped on that. Yeah, it smashed that down too.
Boom, and then broke that one.
It's
and
heavy.
I mean, seeing how easily manipulated this is, I can understand that could easily break. But I mean, you still have to have some major force.
You and I ain't heavy enough together to snap
No.
through that, so it's got to weigh more than 400 pounds. I want to go back to this bark thing.
Have been so spaced out that they would have to have been walking on twos.
Look, folks, there's no claw marks at all on this bark that got torn off the tree.
There's been a canine right
And you
here.
can see the evidence of the insects that were in there that it was after that it tore the bark off. And not only did it not leave claw marks, whatever did that,
I think I know
it stacked them neatly and nicely. Let me show them the stacks. Look how
I think I know what's tracking us.
nicely.
This is all brand new.
Something just come in behind us.
Yeah, that wasn't there when we came up.
Is that a coyote?
It looks like a coyote. There's padding. There's two right there. Like they came up and sniffed where we were at, then looped up around.
Look, I think one of them peed right here too.
Yeah.
That looks like it peed and scratched the ground right here. Oh yes, there's fresh urine. Look at that on the leaf right there.
I see it, yeah.
Yeah, something's not happy that we're here.
No.
It just marked over where we had been checking out
That's
just recently.
probably tracking us up there.
And made the noise. The
That's
whooping
probably,
noise.
Ow! It was like an ow! Not quite like a wolf. It sounded like a child. Like an excited child.
Crazy.
But that's what's been tracking us. That's fresh urine. It came over and smelled where we'd
We
spent
were
time.
just there. Nothing had peed there when we were just there about 20 minutes ago.
Exactly. I guarantee that's what was tracking us up there.
Yeah, I think it did that to let us know we're not welcome. Yeah, I filmed that earlier.
Bark.
It's a mushroom.
Is it a mushroom?
Yeah, it's a fungus that's growing at the base of this tree. I mean, I don't.
Oh, that's it.
I can't. I guess I can't call it a mushroom, but it's a fungus.
It kind of has a lid. I don't know. That is weird.
Yeah, I'm not an expert, but it's for sure a fungus, maybe a mushroom.
It's a fun guy.
I can be a fun guy once in a while too.